The law of attraction, very interesting topic, comes up a lot, also known as the secret, or yeah, the secret. We got one on deck. Does anyone believe in the law of attraction? Do you believe in the law of attraction? Is it something real? Is it something that can get your ex back? It's an interesting thing. Do you get what you want? Do you get what you want and then you realize you don't really want it? Is a good question, right? T Rose, what's going on? Anything to say about the law of attraction or The Secret, the book? Um, this is going to be the topic today, and we'll go into other things like we usually do. But I think it's a really interesting topic because people, what was it, over the last 10 or 15 years? Brand new Skinner, how you doing, buddy? You weren't here yesterday, but welcome. We had 7 already on deck, so I guess this is a good time frame. If you guys want to chime in on the law of attraction or the book The Secret, what you think about that. Does it work? Is it real? Does the law of Tia A, how you doing? Not really. Everyone has free will. Thanks for answering the question, Judy Jack. Does the law of attraction work? Question mark. Have you ever... Oh, Jessica, how are you? You made it today. Good. Nice one. So topic is, we can go into other things, right? Because we always do. Thanks for the like. Cheers. We always do. But the law of attraction, The Secret, I've talked about this in a couple videos. Really want to know about this, Tia A. You really want to know about the law of attraction? I'm actually excellent. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. I'm very good. Thanks for asking. I'm doing well. It's actually a little bit rainy and cold for the first time since I've been in California. And it's extra chilly for me because I'm not used to this cold weather. Thanks for the like. Cheers, lad. Tia, so this is a topic I don't remember you being on the live stream before because we usually have small audiences, so I know people quite well. But the law of attraction, The Secret. So the sun is always shining somewhere. Well, isn't that positive? That's absolutely true. And the sun's always going to come back, right, too. So does anyone else have a situation where the law of attraction maybe works, like Judy Jack Burton? Judy Jack Burton. Double JB. Not really. Everyone has free will. I was there in one of your live videos. Okay, in the past? Okay, Tia, thanks. So have you Tia, so you're asking what about this? Have you ever had a situation where the law of attraction, your definition of the law of attraction, has worked? Or anyone else out there? I certainly don't think the law of attraction necessarily works for, I was there in one of your live videos. I certainly don't think it works in getting your ex back. I think that there's definitely moments where you can focus on something you really want, visualize it. I tried it, didn't work to some extent. Okay, so okay, Tia, well, why don't you just share your experience, or anyone else out there, with the law of attraction? Or if someone just goes like Judy Jack, like, no, not really. Everyone has free will. It's bullshit. Has anyone else had a situation where you focused on something, maybe visualized it, saw it, tasted it, and then it happened for you later on? And full disclosure to everyone out there, I haven't read the book The Secret. I know what it's about. I've seen videos. I am the law of attraction right now. I let go of bad things in my life, and I immediately started attracting good things. Okay. I think there's some truth to it. I think there's some truth to it. I think that there's some valuable parts to it. I think if you just assume that if you want something and you visualize it, it'll happen. No, but it certainly helps. I think it helps when you want, how should I say this? Inanimate objects. You know, if you want a car and you fixate on a Corvette or something like that, it's just a random car. And, you visualize having that car and driving in that car. The thing about it is, it's not necessarily going to get it the next day, but over time, when the circumstances come up and the money's there, you're probably going to buy it. If anything, the law of attraction does the opposite. If you obsess over something, it will never come to you. The moment you let go and no longer want it, that's when it comes. Well, that's interesting. Have you ever heard Oprah Winfrey I don't know if you know the movie The Color Purple, or any of you guys do. Old movie, great movie. Old now, I don't know, it's like 20 years old or something like that. Danny Glover was in it, and she got a role in that movie as Harpo or something. She had a big role in that movie, and she did an excellent job actually. Um, and she really, really wanted that part. And she said what James just said. She said, I was hoping, I was wishing, whatever." And she's like, "I finally just said I release. Whatever happens, happens." And she said she got the call that afternoon that she had gotten the part. So there's some truth to that too, James. I wanted an AC to be installed in my room. I did visualized it, although it took time, but it got installed. So like I said, I think with things that are objects or possessions, jewelry or a car or something like that, I think the idea that you visualize having it happen, you're supposed to do it in a past tense also. I think that, yeah, doctor, I've mentioned this guy before, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's got a bunch of videos on YouTube, and he's got a bunch of books. And one of the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself I've listened to, and I thought was quite good. We rationalize life to fit whatever narrative we want that helps us sleep at night. That's a great way to put it, Brandon Skinner. That's a great way to put it. But let's just take a step back because I think that the law of attraction's taking this light where people there's people that have a YouTube channel that's just about the law of attraction. I can't think of the woman's name. She's younger and she just does law of attraction stuff and claims it works every time. What I would say in my own life, I didn't practice where I was like, oh, I'm going to do the law of attraction to make this happen. But there are good TED Talks on the law of I love TED Talks. I haven't seen a TED Talk on that, but I have had in my own life where I wasn't trying so much, but I was like, I really, really want this. And I believed in it and I believed it could happen. And it took time, and over time it happened. The law of attraction working for an ex to come back, I can't see that. I've seen videos where they encourage people to do that stuff. But I think if you visualize a really good outcome in something, it works. I'd say it can work, but not all the time. I do not believe that if you want your ex back, the LOA will work. I never saw it written LOA. Okay. I don't think so. I think when it comes to exes, you really cannot control how they feel. Well, Fiona, Virginia, I agree. I agree with that. That's a good way that you put that too. Thanks for chiming in. But for another, and so Tia chimed in that she actually envisioned an AC, I'm assuming an air conditioner installed, and it happened. But for another instance, when I wanted my ex to contact me, he did not send me a friend request. He did send me a friend request, but as soon as I got the notification to open it, I saw it wasn't there. He just deleted the request. So you got what you visualized, but you didn't really get the full thing, did you? So that's interesting, because they say it with the law of attraction to be very specific, to feel the instance. Exactly. I didn't get you, but I'd say I'm sorry. I wanted my ex to contact me. So in a way, he did contact you, but he didn't contact you in the complete form that you were looking for, probably. I find it interesting. There's a really interesting book, The Extraordinary Knowing, years back. And I think I've written this before, but this is the name of the book, Extraordinary Knowing. And this lady goes into all these different things. It's not about the law of attraction, but it's quite interesting because she's hey Mac, how you doing? Nav 34D. 34D. Why do you have 34D? It always makes me think of a bra. In An Extraordinary Knowing, though, the psychologist goes down this rabbit hole about knowing and how we know things and how we have these moments of, I don't want to say you're a psychic, but you have a moment. Have you guys ever had a moment where you knew something was coming, but you didn't tell anyone, and then it happened, like a car accident, something bad? Have you ever had a moment where, I remember when I was, this is kind of random, but I remember I was still with my girlfriend that I've talked about that bad breakup before. I don't know, this was like 13 years ago. And I had a job in real estate. I was doing pretty well, not outstanding, but pretty well. I'd been in it for a couple years, and she just got a job with a different line of real estate, but a pretty good job. And so I'm talking to one of my really good friends on the phone. I'm like, yeah, she got a job, da da da. And he's like, wow, man, I'm really happy for you guys. You guys are going to be doing really well. And I just remember feeling like, nah, that's not true. This isn't going to be good. And as soon as she got that job, our relationship got really bad really quick. And I just remember having a feeling, an intuition, if you will, that this isn't going to be good. And I didn't know why. Have you ever had something like that? Anyone else out there? I've asked other people this before. So, I was talking to my niece about this, and she was saying that. Sorry, I got the dog here. She was saying that she had an incident like that where she got into the car with her mom and her brother, and she was like, I just knew we were gonna get in a car accident. It wasn't a bad accident, but they got in an accident about 15 minutes later, and she was like, I don't know how. I never said anything because I thought it was weird. But have you had any of those things? Like self-fulfilling prophecy? It can be like that, but I'm just saying, like, have you just had a moment where you're just like, ooh, I got a weird feeling or something like that? And you're not a psychic per se, but you have a moment where you knew something was coming, but you don't know how you knew, or you knew something was in a certain location, you don't know how. Synchronicities is a big one. Synchronicities come up a lot in my life. I think synchronicities come up a lot when you're dialed in. And you're synchronicities happen a lot. That's a Carl Jung thing. But you can go down that rabbit hole a lot. It's kind of different. Funny how a change of circumstance, like a new job or even a change of scenery, like a vacation, is absolutely, James. That's not by chance. That probably is one of the few things that I wouldn't say is. I mean, I'd say it's 90% or 80% true, that it can destroy a relationship. And it's not necessarily, and the crazy thing about that, to rewind it a little bit, it might be detrimental to the relationship, but it's not detrimental to the individual. They're just going through a life change. They're putting on a whole new costume, a whole new lifestyle. And when they enter that, they're going to go into, well, I like this, I don't like this. And yeah, because when you're in a long-term relationship, like 3, 4, or 5 years, you're playing a role, and the partner that you're with is comfortable with that role and comfortable in expecting who you are, what you do, and what to expect. And when you change or they change, it's kind of like, what the fuck happened here? Big ups. Lee Roll, not Leroy, Lee Roll, Y337. Big ups. All right, Lee. Big ups to you too. I'm sorry, T. I didn't read the other thing. Happy thing is that when I was practicing the law of attraction, I wanted my ex back, but in reality, I got a true closure. Okay, he just moved on and got a new girlfriend, and dubbed me, who was using LOL to get him back. Well, that's what I mean. I don't think that you could use the tactics in law of attraction to get someone else back, because they have their own mission and their own thing. Mac, how are your tacos yesterday? Fucking outstanding. Very good. Very good. And it was at a truck, one of those trucks. Cheapest thing I bought in California, $1.25 taco. Very, very nice. Thanks for asking, Mr. Kavanaugh. Lately, I feel like I know what is coming, like what you said as intuition or prophecy. Yeah, and that book, Extraordinary Knowing, if any of you guys want to check that out, it's just an interesting take on it, because the lady's skeptical. See, like, she's not one of those that's like, oh, just do this and do that. It's very, very, very interesting how the mind works. When I say that to you, I mean, I'm not saying I've gotten it all the time, but there are certain moments where I'm like, wow, that was like that moment when I talked to my friend on the phone, and he was like, oh, that's great, man. You and her, you guys are going to have a great future. And this and that. I just felt like this thing in my stomach kind of dropped, and I was like, no, it's not going to be good. And I didn't know why. And within 6 months, it wasn't. Yes, I've had that feeling, Mac. Yeah, and I mean, some people can call it intuition. You can call it synchronicities. You can call it a small psychic moment. I don't know. I think that we get locked up in the word psychic as being something total bullshit, but I think there's moments we just don't you get to use them for like winning the lottery or something like that. Because I know that I've had a few moments in live coaching sessions where we're getting really deep on something, and I'll say something, and someone will go, "How did you know that?" I don't know. It just came up. They'll be like, "People say that about me all the time." Um, so I think it's a kind of an interesting thing. But like Judy Jack, synchronicities happen all the time. You have a thought about someone and they call you up. That happens a lot, right? I just had that happen recently where um, I called a friend and he goes, literally, I was just dialing your number. That was crazy. How many times does that happen, right? And that might have something to do with other physics or energy things, right? I just think it's not just about visualizing. You can visualize all you want, but if you're a negative person and don't do the things to actually get there, then what's visualization going to do? Yeah, I would say that the visualization needs to be there, but you need to have, how should I say it, a true excitement, a true belief that it's already going to happen. I think that's a big part of it. If you have any ounce of you that kind of goes, well, that's not really like, let's be honest. If I said, oh, I'm going to make $10 million this year, I mean, even when I say that, I don't feel like, oh yeah, I'm going to make $10 million this year. But I have met people when I was in real estate that made a lot of money, and they literally thought they're bulletproof. I mean, whatever it was, whatever the market was like, it was like I got lunch, I got this, and they just believed that they were money. And you were around them, and if you were I didn't grow up that way, so I was just kind of like, yeah, right, the market's down, this and that. It's like, no, they're already up. They always believe. So belief's a big part. Do you ever use LOA, so law of attraction? I don't think I've ever used it in the form that, how should I say, they give you these directions on YouTube and these different things. But I've definitely had, how should I say this, where I've really wanted something. I've visualized it, but I didn't think I was doing law of attraction. I've done this when I was younger. I visualized it happening, and it happened in the same way, or it eventually came to fruition, a month, 6 months, a year later. What I will say, there's no time frame on this stuff. Um, but it's also something I believed that I could do. I remember one time I was trying out for basketball, um, and the night before the tryouts for this team, I'd visualized, me playing in the game and making a play, and somehow I was visualizing like a steal, and I dove for the ball and all this. I don't know, like the night before I was all excited. I was a young kid, and I did that same play the next day. So there's something to that. If anyone knows who Pele is, the Michael Jordan of soccer, or most Europeans would call football, that guy visualized the game before he played every time, supposedly. I had been using LOA. Christian Torres, okay. I've been using LOA to manifest a text from an ex, but she ended up drunk calling me at 3 a.m. Does that mean anything? Well, I'd say, does that mean anything to you, Mr. Torres? So if you manifested a text and the text didn't come through, and you weren't manifesting a drunk call specifically, so I'm not sure you got what you were looking for, right? Not really. I just try to make it work. Mayo. Oh, Mayo's got a picture up now. Yeah, and here's the thing, people. I believe in being playful and trying things like this, and not being so rigid where it's like, yeah, this doesn't work or that works. There's forms of it. Getting caught up in this is going to change my life. No, but I think that good intentions go a long way. The law of unattraction. The law of unattraction. Okay. But you also have to work for what you want. Stuff doesn't come to you. People just cause that. They visualize. You got to do something to attract it. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. But beyond the visualization, you got to believe it, right? You got to believe it. Have you ever started something? And this would probably blend with people finding a purpose, a purpose outside of getting their ex, which I come back to a lot. and finding something that you not only want, but you believe you deserve. How many times do you sabotage yourself because you don't think you deserve something or you don't think you're worthy of it? That happens a lot. Or you don't believe it's possible. You go, yeah, I've always wanted to own a house, but you know what? I got $10 in the bank and it's never going to happen. But I also have to work for what you want. Okay. Visualization is real, but instead of visualizing your ex coming back, visualize your self improvement and growth. Yeah. I think that with your ex, going back to that, James, I think you're setting yourself up for disaster. I know that another rabbit hole to go down is how many of you get vivid dreams of your ex. The older I get, the more I think action is more important. Although having the vision is a motivator towards action. And dating, I somehow envision what I want, but it seems unattainable. That's the problem, Monica. If you feel like something's unattainable, then it will be unattainable. You're feeding to your subconscious. It's never going to happen. You're self-sabotaging yourself just by that statement alone. I want it, but it seems unattainable. So just the fact that you visualize something that's unattainable in your mind is going to find a way to make it unattainable, because what your belief drives the intention of your subconscious to make it true. If that makes sense, I believe in that. Your subconscious is the most powerful thing. James, great. We are our own worst enemy. Can be. I always say we are a slave to our experiences. Someone that was a live coaching said he really, really liked that. And the past experiences are what guide us in that. So if you feel like something's unattainable, something in your past, something when you were raised as a kid, someone in your past said something really negative and you held on to that. It's like people I meet that are ultra positive. It has to do with their past experiences. Daniel Calimayor Montero. What's up, Mac? How are you today? I'm good, my friend. Dreams of your ex? You mean nightmares? No, I've talked to people without they get random dreams. It can be nightmares. You attract what you fear. You can attract what you fear, absolutely. They say that you should, if you're fearing something, that's what you should face your fears, right? Having total control of your mind, thoughts, and emotions is the best way forward and the most attractive thing you can do, which is why Mac's knowledge of psychology is valuable. Well, thank you. Thank you. I've done a lot of research, a lot of stuff on it, and that's a compliment. Thanks, James. I know that's an issue, trying to get a new tape in my brain. Oh, you mean like a tape as in playing back and forth? Hypnotherapy, Monica, is maybe what you want to try. If you're running the same script, there's something in there. And talking about these things, there's a root to every belief. Thanks for the like. Cheers. There's a root to every belief, and I've told people before. There's a series of questions that I go through, and I do them for myself. I found them in a book. I think the book's right here with me, actually. Hypnosis: A Comprehensive Guide. Tad James. Got it at a used bookstore, but there's a series of questions in there. If I go through them, I can find the root of a lot of my beliefs. Often I do have dreams of my ex. What does that mean? Good question, Mia. What does it mean to you, and what's the individual dream? So I don't think I've ever shared this before, but I remember when I had a breakup, I had a dream about running into my ex with, I think it was 2 or 3 other guys that were from the same city or town. It was from the high school I went to, but we were well out of high school, you know. I was in my late 20s, mid 20s, and these were just people I knew from around town that weren't good friends, but friends, acquaintances, people you know when you live in your hometown. And she was out with these, I think it was 2 or 3 guys. They were out drinking. I remember being at the bar. This is a dream. And it was vivid. And I was like, damn, she's getting drunk again. Oh, she's hanging out with these guys. And I was just watching from afar. I didn't go up over there. And then the next part of the dream was like her taking a shower and drinking lots of alcohol and taking, like there was, like she had to get cleaned or something. It was just random as hell. And I looked it up in a dream book, and they said that Whenever you see someone in a shower or something like that, it means that you think they're dirty. But I remember that dream vividly and waking up like, what did that mean? Oh my God. Well, it means that I didn't think she was partaking in a lot of good things at that time. And I was dreaming about what I thought she was becoming. And she was out with three other guys. But the to answer your question, Tia, specifically, your dreams are your feelings at the time, and they create these pictures and visualizations. But the individual dream and what happened in it, I would have to know that to give you some kind of take on it. But to just ask what it means to just means you're fixated and you're thinking about that quite a bit. I got my eyes on the prize, but sometimes I dream of my ex and it feels so real that I wake up and feel horrible. Okay, so you're dreaming good things. I sometimes fantasize how I would react if I ever encountered my ex. I don't know why I'm aware of it. I think that's natural, Daniel. I think a lot of people do that. Don't fight it. And lead with good intentions. I say it all the time. Makes sense. People dream about their makes sense. People considering they often take up so much time in your brain time. Exactly, James. It's not out of character. It's not strange. It's not weird. Dreaming about your ex is probably your brain trying to sort out and process your feelings about the person. Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it, James. Um, like that dream that I had when she was with these other guys and they were drinking. It certainly lined up with some of the things that I thought were going to go on after we broke up. James, I think dreams are longing not particularly for the ex, but longing for the ideal or my ideal. Could be. It depends on everyone's situation. If you led on, whatever. I forgot who it was that said that you. I think it might have been Brand New Skinner, but you're going to follow the narrative of what you want to believe. So if you want to believe they're doing bad things, then you're going to somehow put that into your like my dream that I just explained or told. I was basically thinking that she was going to be in a bad place, drinking a lot with numerous guys. That's what I had in my head, right? And that's what I dreamed about. uh, Haha, my dream was about to hook up with my ex, but her parents came home and busted us. Probably my brain telling me her parents interfered in our relationship. Is that true or not true? Like the dream I just mentioned, looking back, the feelings I had at the time we broke up, that's exactly what I thought was going on. I thought she was going down the wrong path with the drinking, being promiscuous in the future. So if we were cloned, Mac, a few million times, all us girls could be with good guys. Well, thanks. I don't want to be cloned, but it's certainly possible in the future, right? I dreamt that my ex was happy and he was so lively with other girls. Well, that's probably what your deep down thinking is. That's true. I mean, my ex is someone I spent and created a close bond with. Only time can heal wounds. Yeah, and I mean, thinking about it now, mm, over the years, having a few different exes, I'll have a dream about them randomly, once every couple years, and I'll be like, "Where did that come from?" It's kind of weird. I think I had one where I ran into an ex at the mall, and we hadn't seen each other for a while, and we were both kind of trying to ignore each other, and she was with someone else and I was with someone else, but we both were interested in what the other person was doing. It was totally random. It's like that ex I hadn't been with for 7 8 years. I'm like, where did that come from? I don't know, but it's deep down in there, right? It's stored. And I do have a good memory, so I am healing though. I'm proud of my progress in all aspects. Yes, you are, Daniel. Yes, you are, my friend. That is very true. I feel guilty to say I've never dreamt about my ex when we were together, but apparently she wants to haunt my dreams afterwards. You know what that brings up, James? That's really interesting. Is I've told this to people before. Is like, if you ever broken up, have you ever broken up before? And then obviously people are like, I'm not ready to date. Right? A lot of people go, oh, I was with her for 5 years or 7 years or what have you, and I'm not ready to date. But this is my own experience. But when I was with my girlfriend, and I don't feel bad saying this because this is just human. I would check out other women all the time because it's just natural, right? When a good looking woman comes in a restaurant or something like that, and you go, wow, she's hot, something like that. And when you're broken up and you're so sad, you're like, someone comes in, you're like, yeah, she doesn't look as good as my ex. No. And your friend's like, oh, did you see that? You see that chick? Yeah, she's okay. It's like you're so negative and you're so hurt. It's like 3 months prior when you were with your girlfriend at the time and you're official, you're thinking, wow, if I was single, I would approach her, or I'd talk to her. You know what I mean? And then when you're in that little gray zone, that hazy zone of a breakup, you're like, yeah, I'm not even interested. Isn't it so true? It is true. I've talked to other friends about this. Like, I remember thinking when I was with my girlfriend for 5 years, I'm always checking the menu. I'm always looking around. I'm a guy. Like, I'm not a pig about it. I'm not like whistling in the street or something. But someone some good looking woman or someone that's attractive or a waitress that's cute or something like that, and you flirt a little bit and you talk a little bit, harmless type stuff. And you're like, damn, if I was single, man, and then when you're broken up, it's like, not even interested. And your friend's like, did you see her? Yeah, she's not even pretty. um, okay, do you think the law of attraction works with soulmates? I had an experience in my younger years, was living in China far away from him who was in the USA. We ended up sending messages at the same time. What do you mean sending messages at the same time, Monica? What I will say that's sounds a little spacey and strange. I do think that, and I've read some books on this, so it's not just coming out of nowhere, that if you're thinking of someone somewhere that you're close, a family member or a good friend or an ex, that you can get in there. I don't know if it's energy field or whatever. And that's the times when someone's like, oh, I was just about to call you, or I was just thinking of you. Or have um, you sense something bad's going to happen and then you get that call. I've had that happen too. Soulmates, I'm not big. If you watch my channel, Monaco, I'm not big on soulmates. The idea of soulmates, but I certainly think that people have strong connections. And if you're thinking of someone across the world, it's certainly possible. At the same time, they're thinking of you. I don't think that, but I'd like elaborate a little bit on that, Monica. Um, how should one react if she encounters with his or her the relationship ended brutally and cannot be forgiven ever? How should one react if he or she encounters with his or her ex the relationship, and if the relationship ended brutally? That's a strong word. Brutal is like brutal's brutal. I'm big on word use too, like how you use words. I mean, what's brutal? Because brutal to me is almost physical, right? And that's like, there's certain things that are just completely unacceptable. Getting physical with each other is one of them. If someone's hitting someone or being abusive, it's completely unacceptable. There's no negotiating that. Like, oh, it's just a small problem. But if it ended brutally and you encounter your ex, I would say you would avoid them, ignore them, or leave the premises. I wouldn't want to approach someone that I ended a relationship with brutally and not cannot be forgiven. I keep dreaming that my ex Holmes is in foreclosure and he asked me for help. Well, Rochelle, did he ask you for help before? Is it something that's been in a relationship before that he needs money or he asks you for money? I mean, that would be the paramount thing to ask money for, right? If someone asks you for money for a foreclosure, you really have to think about it because you're like, fuck, a home's something to save. It's not like you're saving someone's car. Um, sorry, guys. Whistling in the street. You know what I mean, though, right? It's like when you say you're checking out some chick or something like that, and you're like, "Oh, I was whistling at her." Or something. No, I'm just saying, like, you're as a guy, and women do the same thing. It's like some guy will be like, "Yeah, I know my girlfriend was checking out that guy." So what? So I've always had relationships where I'm completely comfortable with my girlfriend saying that she thinks some guy's hot. I'm never like, "Oh God." Now, I remember towards the end of a relationship that one of my exes kept talking about multiple guys again and again, and not physically, but like, oh, he's so funny. Oh, he's like over. Now that got my attention, but at the same time, what are you gonna do about it? You're gonna get in the middle of her flirting or talking to some guy regularly. Eventually, you're gonna break up because she's interested in other guys. Yeah, brutal does sound like that's what I mean. Like brutal's that's a brutal word. I don't know what to compare it with. Mental torture. Wow, that's extreme, Tia. Mental torture is brutal too. Well, where's your power? Sorry for saying the same thing all the time, but if you're in the game of mental torture, you're a part of that mental torture too. For someone to mentally manipulate you, you have to play the game. You have to participate and you have to cooperate. And when you take a step back, you're like, "Oh shit. I don't want you to feel guilty, but at the same time, you need to know your role." If someone's able to do that to you, they're not mental torture or manipulation is not something where someone's handcuffed you and threw you in a cellar. They're playing games with you and you're walking down the path going, okay, okay, yeah. I don't buy the whole soulmate thing. It's just a question of compatibility and having shared values like good communication and commitment. I agree. I just think the soulmate thing limits you, but I think what Monica was saying was more or less like that was a soulmate at a time. I believe like if you want to use the word soulmate, just use that you have more than one soulmate. If that's a clarification, if that's something that you believe in, why would you just have one? It's like past lives, right? If you believe in past lives, why would you just have one past life? I ended up sending a postcard to him on the beach with his name on it. He sent me a sign with him sending in front of the ocean, "I may miss you." It was sent to me on the same day I sent it to him. That's fucking interesting. That's a synchronicity. Monica, stuff like that happens. I don't think that's like goofy. You obviously were thinking of each other at the same time. I remember a friend of mine and we were talking about this, and he was saying that he had an ex. It was like his first love, and like 4 or 5 years later, they were still friends or like long distance friends kind of thing. And he said he had a erotic dream about her. And he said she called him the next day and was like, "Oh, I just had a dream about you last night." And he's like, "What the fuck?" And they kind of brushed it off like whatever. But then my friend's highly skeptical of stuff like that. So it was interesting. If someone can't break up with you in a humane and respectful way, it's a good thing they're gone. True. True, Mr. James. Totally agree, James. Right, James. Thank God he is gone. Well, I mean, if you had mental torture and yeah, take it as a learning curve. Take it as a way to be more compassionate to other people that have broken up before. And like I tell people, be your own coach. Sometimes you got to take a step back and stop saying like, "Oh, look what this person's doing to me." It's like if this was your sister, brother, cousin, someone close to you, what advice would you give them? Would you be like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing? This guy's treating you really bad." It's different if my girlfriend says a celebrity is hot versus if she says some dude she works with is hot. I don't have a problem with instant attraction because it's human, right? I mean, we all can be attracted to someone for various reasons, right? Now, if you go and have lunch with that person 4 or 5 times a week and start talking about the conversations you have, now you're building a connection. So trust, connection, attraction, right? Those are the three keys to a really serious relationship or long-term relationship. Maybe you want to add some other things, but attraction is surface based, right? And depending on the individual, you could say like, "Oh my God, like I've had plenty of times where I've had good buddies of mine and a girlfriend of mine will be like, wow, so and so he's really good looking. Great, fine. Doesn't even it's like water on a duck's back. Doesn't bother me at all. You know, I think that's being honest, right? And I can do the same. It's like if I have a girlfriend and she brings a friend over, I'm like, wow, she's hot, she's good looking. But I leave it at that, right? You know, it's different if my girlfriend says a celebrity's hot. Okay, Dan, why do exes come back after you completely move on, remove your attention completely from the breakup, or when you're with someone else? Well, scarcity is attractive. It's the most popular video I have, and it's true. It's true. Some people say it's an energy that's getting taken away. It's possible. Um, People want what they can't have, and suddenly they can't have you. Um, whatever you lose, whatever you feel like is a loss, that can persist in your mind also. But the idea too is it's the art of the takeaway. So like when I was in real estate, The art of the takeaway is you negotiate, and then you say, no, I'm done. And then someone goes, wait a minute, I thought we were negotiating. No, I'm done. I don't want to, I don't want to, because a lot of times you'd go, let's say you're buying a house that was $700,000. I remember I had this one time with a guy, and the market was down. So he had a lot of negotiating room. And let's say he offered 600. I don't know the exact numbers. And so they're going back and forth. And a lot of times people will say, oh, we'll split it, right? So like, let's say you offer six, then you go to 650, and then you go to 625. You keep splitting the difference. He goes, I don't want to split the difference. He'd offer like 1,000 more. But he was in a position where he didn't need the house. He didn't want the house so much that he wouldn't get the deal he wanted. So he just said, I'm not splitting. I'm not doing that anymore. When he walked away, the guy was like, what happened? Where'd he go? And the guy gave him his price. So that's the thing. You stop negotiations when you completely give your attention away. And that's when someone goes, whoa, shit, I'm going to lose this now. I better come to the table. Daniel, they come back because they are seeking validation. They don't want to think that you can move on from them. It hurts their ego. In some cases, yes, James, that's very true. You're right, Mac. Maybe I gave him the power to manipulate me. And Tia, when you say that, I'm not putting you down. Just use it as a learning thing. But you had a role in the manipulation. It didn't happen to you. It wasn't forced upon you. You played the game. You participated. Now, looking back, you can go, oh shit, if that happens again, I know the red flags. I'm not going to be a part of that. I'm not going to be treated like that again. So, and people that are really good at manipulating, once you get out of that mess, I haven't been manipulated in a relationship like that, but the ones that have afterwards, the worst thing you can do is to think that that person had some sort of power over you. You have some power if you have your wits about you and you're fully functional. One thing a lot of coaches do this, but it's the how do you change your negative thoughts pattern in dating to attract a more positive outcome, avoid negative patterns. I think I have some insecurity with all that. I just don't ever tell women I'm with that. I find other girls attractive because I don't want them to feel the same insecurity. Oh, fair enough, James. Fair enough. Like when you say that, I'm not like, oh, that's, if that's how you are and that's the way you ride, right on, man. I'm saying that for me, I'm more open. I'm more, I guess, honest about what I'm thinking in my head. Because James, you're talking about if you're telling your girlfriend that you thought someone was attractive or hot, you think it would be hurtful. In the relationships I've had, I'm a pretty open person. I talk a lot, and I don't always think before I speak, so to say, like, oh, is this going to hurt her feelings? And I don't, if it's mutual and you have that understanding, it's very different when someone goes, oh, she's good looking or she's hot, and you're just saying it just coming to your head to where you're fixating and going on and on. That would become hurtful to the partner, right? Sorry, that's my dog. One thing I want to come back to this, Monica, real quick, but it is how do you change your negative thoughts patterns? Changing your negative thoughts, you change your routine and change the way you're doing things. If you're getting the same results, it means that you're doing the same things over and over again. And changing your environment works, changing what you're doing. I've mentioned hypnotherapy a couple times to you. Therapy works, whatever. Try new things, change your routine. Because that a lot of times environment's associated with how you feel. So like I'll give you an example. Let's say you lived in this is a deeper example, but let's say you live in your childhood home that you inherited your parents' house just by chance or your grandma's house. And in that house, you have some bad memories. Something really bad went down in that house. And then your ex lived there and your ex broke up with you. You have double the bad memories. That house, probably you should sell it and move somewhere else because there's an association with bad memories there. And you don't think it's true? I'll tell you some wild shit. I was living in Thailand for years now. I came back for my grandfather's funeral, and I came back to the neighborhood I used to live in, staying at a friend's house. I went for a jog on this path on the bay in the Bay Area, and I'm going for the jog, and I just went all the way back to where I had this feeling of when I first broke up and all these ill feelings, because on that path I was dealing with the breakup before, and the last time I had been there was then. Environments count. Does anxiety play a role in manipulation? I'm not sure, Daniel. I'm not sure. I don't have the information on that. I haven't researched that. That's a good question. I'd have to look into that. I haven't experienced anxiety a lot in my own life. So for me to speak on that, I wouldn't know. That's a good question. That's something to look into. And then I've had anxiety, but I haven't suffered it a lot. There's a lot of people that suffer anxiety regularly. I do think anxiety is something you can overcome. I think that manipulation is something that you can be aware of and overcome it. There's talented people that are manipulators, but once you realize that it happened to you or it's happening regularly, you have some power. James, other guys don't have the exact combination of things you have. That's what makes you special to your girl, regardless of how hot other people may be. Yeah, that's true, Jessica. Good way to put it. Like I said, attraction's surface based. To me, when someone says someone's hot, it doesn't even you hear the dog panting here. It doesn't even necessarily mean that you're attracted to them. If you just think someone's hot, they're visually pleasing. There's plenty of women, I mean, in school and women I've worked with, or like the first time I met them, like, wow, beautiful. And then after knowing them for a week or 2 weeks, I think, wow, I would never want to be in a relationship with this woman. Right? How many times have you, I mean, honestly, in the workplaces, usually the best looking people are the hardest to deal with. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad generalization, but it's almost like people that are born rich. Because of my ex had really bad anxiety and she was extremely manipulative. Okay, I'm sorry. It could be associated. I don't know though. I can't speak on that. I'm not sure. The one thing I won't do is talk about something I'm not versed on, or I don't have a background in, or I haven't researched. She was even on medication during the relationship because of how bad anxiety was. She was anxious and attachment style too. It probably contributed, actually. I'll show you the dog in a minute. Thanks, Jessica. That's nice of you. I mean it. I never knew that. Here we go. Here, Kirby. Come here. Come here. Come here. There he is. Kirby. He's a good dog. Oh, yeah. There you go. That's Mr. Kirby. The chocolate lab. All right. I never knew the concept of law of attraction, but since the last 4 months, I see. I'm sorry, I just lost my place. So I see, or people talk about. It's like LA is all around me. Does that mean anything? No, it means that you're focused on it. So that's an interesting thing. It's cognitive bias. Cognitive bias. If you and that's associated with law of attraction. So let's say that you wanted to go, like I said, let's say you bought a brand new car, or you're thinking about buying a brand new car. I just use cars because everyone in the world usually knows about cars. And you want this certain car, let's say a Corvette, like I said earlier, a 1985 Corvette, old school. And all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, you start looking them up online. And then all of a sudden on the freeway, you're like, oh shit, that's an 85 Corvette. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. Have you ever had that happen? Happens to me. Happens to me. It's cognitive bias. And what it is your brain actually takes in scenes, and your eyes and everything take in scenes, and then you filter things out for what you're looking for, or what you're concentrated on, and then that's what comes up. Hence negative and positive thinking. But what you're looking for, you'll find, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's Daniel. That's a great book. I've read that book. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Joe Dispenza. Daniel, you know that I've talked about Joe Dispenza before. I like him. And his stuff, he doesn't call it law of attraction, but he has his own method of visualization and meditation combined. And he swears by it, really. And he's a chiropractor, a neuroscientist, I believe, Daniel, Joe Dispenza is. But Tia, could you go back to that? That law of attraction's everywhere just because it's on your mind, and it's also highly available. But when you start focusing on something, it'll come up everywhere. I think Johnny Depp is hot. I would have left my ex for him. No, not like Johnny would have even looked at me, but okay, fair enough. But you don't really know Johnny Depp. You just are attracted to him. You know what I mean? You don't know him until you sit down and have some food and have a beer with him or whatever. But you don't really know him as a person. And that's my point is like physical attraction is surface based. It's really not the how many times, I mean, how many times has this happened where I know in my own life, someone's like, oh, yeah, so and so's got a new girlfriend. You meet the new girlfriend, she's beautiful. But you sit down and talk to her, and she can't hold a conversation. She's not fun to be around. I'm just like, well, to me, I wouldn't want that to be my girlfriend to hang out. Conversation's a big deal to me. So everyone values different things. I'll take it a step further. People that tend to have like really nice things, even if they're not rich, like they have really expensive cars, houses, jewelry, tend to go after really good looking people because that's their measurement. They like to show. But that's the thing. What if you were around Johnny Depp every day? Well, then you'd really get to know him, James, and then you'd be able to make a better idea if you actually like him because connection and trust are big, but connection's big, right? I mean, to me, that's if you're gonna have a long-term relationship, then you have to have connection, which is good conversation, similar values, being able to make each other laugh. I mean, could you imagine being with someone that doesn't have your sense of humor? It's not fun. I found my I found I'm attracted to avoidant types, but realize I can't help who I'm attracted to. Yes, you can. I want to change that though to someone who's more security attached. Avoidance make me agents. Hmm. Stop using labels. Try that. Stop putting people in a box. And I'm not. This is why I'm not against the avoidant types. And I know these different things is because when you put someone in a box. Okay, so I'll give you an example, and this is just my opinion. Okay. Um, we have signs, right? Someone just asked me my sign yesterday for zodiac signs, right? I'm an Aquarius, whatever that means, right? So Aquarius and these zodiac signs, it's putting someone, oh, you're an Aquarius. Oh, that means you're this, this, and this. Oh yeah, I guess so. I mean, as long as they're favorable things, it's like, if it was out there that Aquarius were murderers and thieves, would I be like, oh yeah, that lines up with me? Usually, it's like positive attributes, things like that. But it's a box to put me in, right? Of well, you're this way. Some of it could be true, some of it can't be true. But you're already going, oh, this person fits in this box, this person fits in this box, and someone came up with those avoidant types and those kinds of things by doing some research. And someone like myself could come along, do some research, and put my own boxes, excuse me, put my own boxes on people. And so instead of thinking, oh, this person's an avoidant type, go, all right, let me just see if I like this person. Let's see if we have a good connection and good conversation, see if there's any red flags that come up. Then I would find out that Johnny Depp beats up women and he's too old for me. Possible. That would be the worst thing, wouldn't it? That'd be the worst thing. He's still hot. I still wouldn't want him. Okay. Oh wow, Mikey Mike's on here. Sorry, I've been going on for quite a while here. I didn't know we had so many on deck. Mm, wow, I'm way behind here, guys. LOL. Your dog is thirsty. He's always thirsty. He's a big boy. He needs coffee. I don't give a dog coffee. Give me your dog. He's a good dog. Yeah, that's a good boy. Yeah, Kirby. Big chocolate lab is what he is. Hello, coach. Here I am again. Leonardo, after 4 months and a half after the breakup, I think she isn't going to reach out. She deleted my number from her contacts recently. What do you recommend? How do you know that she deleted your number from her contacts? How do you know that? Um, at this point, you need to move forward and just not look back, man. The fact that you have that information is kind of weird. Um, At what point are you done, Leonardo? At what point are you like, you know what? I'm done. If she calls me tomorrow, I don't want to hear from her. I'm done. That ship has sailed. Thank you, no problem. I have a question for you, Mac. Been watching you a long time. Ryan B, go ahead. Ask the question, dude. Ask and you shall receive. Just be careful what you wish for. What would getting your ex back even be like? That's a really good question. It's like the movie Pet Cemetery. You can bring back the dead, but they never are the same. I remember the title of that movie, but I never watched Pet Cemetery. When I was a kid, I didn't like those kind of movies. I used to smoke weed for my back pains, but after the breakup, I stopped. I'm 5 months clean now, and I've been going to the chiropractor. Thanks to Joe Dispenza, I really changed a lot of my ways. Oh shit. Well, good for you, man. I mean, there's all kinds of things for back pain, right? There's something called rolfing that's really interesting. I've looked up before. Maybe you want to check that out. Um, but weed, which I smoked in my 20s quite a bit, um, if you're in a breakup and you're in a down place, I don't think it helps. It didn't help me, and I certainly stopped after that moment for that time period when I was in the breakup because it wasn't helping me. What's up, Mikey Mike? Haven't talked to you for a while, bud. One of my first steady followers of the channel. Always good to hear from you, bud. Right, my ex. Okay, Ryan B. My ex's mutual friend of ours screenshotted my Snapchat story yesterday. I've been in no contact for 2 months and blocked my ex on everything but text. Let me read this again. My ex's mutual friend of ours screenshotted my Snapchat story yesterday, and I have been in no contact for 2 months, and I blocked my ex on everything but text. Do you think she is showing my ex this? I have no idea because I don't know her personality. I don't know her intentions. I don't know who she is as a person. But the idea that you want to know that information and you've been in no contact for 2 months, I don't think it's going to serve you either way. I think if she shows it to you, who cares? You're a calm, cool, confident individual that's doing his own thing right now. So what the fuck does it mean to you? You know what I mean? That's how you have to look at it. If she shows it to him, fine. If she doesn't, if she shows it to her, fine. If she doesn't, you know, no sweat off your balls, man. That's how you have to look at it. For the best, I've even attracted females I thought I never could, even though that's not my main focus. My focus is on my purpose, data science. Well, the idea that you're focused on your purpose is attractive. Data science, I'm sure there's some women out there that find that impressive. I found I'm attracted to certain types of chicks, but I just stay away and find more value in myself. Okay. And people do have a type, that's for sure, especially physically. The story was me being happy and rapping along to a song with a caption that I said, "I love my life. I was in a great mood." As I was in a great mood and going to the gym. Have you ever heard? Is that song? Probably that's an old rap song. "Love Life" by Atmosphere. Love life. I love my life. I don't know what song is that. Well, if that's the story and you're happy and you're doing your thing on your own, if she finds out about that, that's a good thing. If she doesn't, you're still in a good place, right? So you win either way. The only way you don't win is you going around trying to be detective and go, "Did she find out that's my Snapchat?" Then that's needy and weak, and it's not attractive. Yeah, it is livelier today, Jessica. Red flags are like Terminators; they infiltrate so well. Just missing Nike. Yeah, he's working probably. He's got a day job, so I'm sure he's. I was kind of yeah. It's 12 o'clock, 12:30 here. What? Just do no contact. It takes time. You have to move on for your own sakes and just work on yourself. Yep, Mike's preaching. Rolfing. Yeah, I came across this. And if someone has back problems or something like that, or posture problems, I saw it on an interview before. Sounds pretty interesting. It's never a good bringing a chick back. It's bad for you, kind of like that movie Bebe with the dude who brought back from the dead. Okay. I was rolfing my back so hard last night, guys. You don't do the rolfing. You have to have a specialist like a chiropractor. Look it up yourself. Do your own research on it, James. It's a real thing. During our breakup, when I was talking to my mutual friend, she had a previous history of showing my ex stuff that we were talking about. So I stopped trusting her and telling her things. Thanks, Mac. Well, I mean, what's the point of having a mutual friend that goes back and forth between you and your ex? And if she shows her stuff, who cares? If you're being you and you're doing your thing, what the fuck does it mean to you? You know what I mean? Keep moving. It's like the old Bob Marley song, Lord, I gotta keep on moving. Not a very good singer. Okay, haha, James XD. How do you know if a relationship is truly healthy? Well, first off, if you have to ask the question, it's probably questionable. If you're saying like, is this a healthy relationship? I mean, and what's your I know I say this all the time, but like what's your definition of healthy relationship? And that would be different for everyone. Um, but at the base, trust, connection, and attraction. Those are the base things. And if you're having issues with those, which a lot of people in long-term relationships, if a long-term relationship ends, it's usually trust or attraction. The connection is usually there because that's built. Um, People usually break up over trust, probably number one. Attraction, lost, number two. So those three things, if they're healthy and they're vibrant, then your relationship's pretty good. And you've been around other people that you're almost like sick around them. You're like, God, you guys are so chummy. They have all three things on deck probably. Hey, coach, big news. My ex-girlfriend and I went to court for my son. And when I told her I tried when I was with you and I got to move on, I put my hand out for a handshake and I pulled away and she held my hand tight. So what's that mean to you, Mike? Does that mean you're getting back together or what's going on? Mad respect, Mac. I'm trying not to overthink, but it threw me for a loop. I appreciate you doing these live streams. One thing is, it's hard to find when you are streaming. You should have a schedule. I agree, Ryan. I've been told this from other people. I live in a different time zone, but this time zone is obviously best for most people. But I take a duly noted, Ryan. I'm gonna make some improvements. I will. Mike, just let me know. Is that a good thing or a bad thing with your ex? Are you happy with that or are you going to want to move on? I've known Mike for a long time, people. So um, I know Mike's been through a few crazy episodes of things. Well, I wish you all the best with your son. You're a good dude, man. You should be in his life. I actually like it that the live streams are at different times. This way, I at least get to watch some of them live. Okay, cool. I enjoy doing them. I can do them. Sometimes I'm like, I can do another one today. My dude Mac is international. He streams when he's ready. Right on, Jamesy. Little James Brown. James, you like James Brown? God, James Brown's underrated as a musician, huh? What James said, yo. Yep. International. Internationally based. And that's probably one of the best things you guys can do in a breakup is actually go live abroad for 3 months, 6 months, a year, see what it's like. I know everyone's not in a position to do that because if you got kids or you got family members or you got a job, but if you can, go for it. We've had a lull here. 10 people on deck. Throw some likes out there if you're still on deck. We're running out of stuff here, huh? We had a lot of people, like you said, Jessica, a lot of people on deck today. This was nice. This was nice. And any of those kind of suggestions, Ryan, it's all good, man. I take it in stride, my friend. I take it in stride. So we started out with the law of attraction. And like I said, maybe go to Joe. Cheers, lad. Thanks for the like. Go to Joe Dispenza to check out what he does, but he doesn't call it the law of attraction. There's a lot of versions that are different styles of the law of attraction, but cheers. Thanks for it. I heard from an ex who I hadn't heard from in over 6 years. From the law of attraction or just randomly? The quantum field. Yeah, the quantum field, my friend. Who else are the other people that are into this kind of stuff. Bruce Lipton, and there's one other guy that's really into it. It's got like long hair. You'll know him, Daniel. Um, it's pretty interesting. And there's a guy named Dean Raid, Entangled. I'm gonna look up my Mac dropping red pills today. What does that mean, dropping red pills today? What does that mean, James? Now I want tea. We're coming up on the hour. I'll go 2 hours today if we have enough people. Oh, a like just got taken away. That's weird. Is that possible? Someone can retract their like? I don't want to give it anymore. Like the Matrix, the red pill versus the blue pill. James, thanks for being a part of all these, man. You could drop a lot of knowledge in here, man. You must have a background in some of these things. And you're a history major, right? I remember you saying that yesterday. Nice one, bud. Thanks for being a part of this. Let's think about this, people. The 8 people I have on deck right now, right? Let's just put law of attraction to the side. What's one thing that you think you want right now outside of your ex? What's one thing you think you want right now that you believe is possible? $10 million. I'll take it. Cash. Inner peace. Okay, so what's this book? I really like this audio book. I don't know if it would be as good as if it was I'm just looking through my phone really quick. I just thought it was so incredibly cool. Hands-on healing. I would love to. Hands-on healing by William. Hands-on. I thought this was incredible. I mean, this guy's a go one day without thinking of my ex. So the thing about these, be very specific. But so on hands-on healing, I don't know if I got another hour I'm going to put into this, so I can go into it. And I think I mentioned it before, but this guy actually heals cancer out of mice with his fucking hands. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Read the book because it's a lot to explain, but he's a skeptic. He met a psychic that healed cancer and healed people, right? And everyone's going, oh, yeah, whatever. But the guy's like, look, I'm a skeptic. I don't know what it was. He's done like 1,000 some odd experiments where he's healed cancer from mice. He's healed other people using, there's energy that comes out of here. And he says, I don't even know what it is, if it's energy or not. But one of the things he talks about is something called image cycling. And I thought that was really interesting. And he said to write out 20 things that you want. And instead of, okay, so let's say that you have knee pain, arthritis in your knees or something like that, right? He said, instead of saying like, I want my knees fixed, envision yourself doing something where your knees are already fixed, like playing tennis. So his idea, and he doesn't call it the law of attraction, his idea has to do with time. Because if you look at Daniel, if you're still on deck, a lot of these quantum people, but a lot of these people in this field and all that, they say that there is no real platform of time. And really going in and doing a law of attraction, you're playing with time. I just want to reach my goals and get my degree. Nothing to do with my ex. I don't even want her to reach out. Well, that's the where is it? James Comment, figuring out what my purpose is. I feel like I know what it is, but the circumstances aren't right for it yet. The concept of time is man-made. Yeah, but I mean, hearing it from some of these people, it's really interesting. Do you believe in Reiki? I haven't done it. I had a friend that's done it before. I'd be completely open to doing it because to me, like stuff like that, I'll try it. I go into it with my eyes wide open. I try it. Reiki is Tia, isn't it like energy based? I've done something with I forgot what it was. You touch people and it feels good. Reiki, is that how it is with Reiki? I mean, there's Reiki specialists. It's not just something someone almost like sex, but not sexy. Interesting way to put it, Jessica. Um, I'm interested. Yeah, I bet you are, James. Uh, yeah, right. Look up Reiki your own because I'm an amateur on research about it, but I know I've had friends do it. It's energy based, if I'm correct, Tia. And if you have done it before, tell us about it, Tia. Yes, something related to psychic or energy. Okay, touch therapy, um, stuff like that. I'll try it. I mean, what when people are like, "Oh yeah, all that stuff's bullshit." It's not. I mean, chakras and stuff. Yeah, meditation helps with law of attraction. Meditation it's just like exercise for your mind. It's like giving your mind a bath, right? It's great for you, but people always go, I can't do it. But the reality is, if you another form of meditation is called flow, the flow state. Um, and that's when you're involved in something that you are very in tune with, that you're challenged by, and you're fully focused on. So some people that really like reading books, that could be that. I like listening to audiobooks while I drive, and it just puts me into a flow state. Someone that likes to write, give your mind a bath. Yeah, that's what meditation is. Meditation, though, you don't need to be, I think everyone thinks that they need to completely clear their mind and space, but just doing it for 2 or 3 minutes probably helps. I think the best I've done is at the end of hot yoga because you're so exhausted. And I don't do hot yoga regularly now, but at the end of it, you're just like, oh, that felt so good. And then you can completely relax. Joe Dispenza talks about flow state. Flow is a book. So it's a concept by, I can't even say the guy's name. It's his name's like this long. Um, Chi Hall Mitchell's, I don't know his name, but your purpose should involve you getting in flow state quite regularly. So whatever job you do, like I would consider doing these live streams, I get in a flow state because one of the biggest parts of being in a flow state is losing track of time. If you want to like have the base of it, have you ever been doing something like some people like Mike, if you're still on deck, you like fixing cars or I'm sure like mechanics, they can sit there and tinker and fix something and they don't look at their watch and go what time it is. It's like the live stream, I'll check the clock like 2 or 3 times. If you're checking your watch regularly, that means you're not really engaged or enjoying it. If you're checking your phone regularly to see your Facebook updates, you're not really engaged, enjoying it. So anything that's flow state, you lose track of time. For me, it'd probably be playing basketball, watching a basketball game, doing a live stream like this, responding to when I do the videos I do on YouTube, the stories. I'm not sitting there thinking like, what do I say next? It just comes, right? I'm not overthinking things. I'm challenged at the same time. You can feel your upper mind shut down and your lizard brain takes over. Yeah, James. Well, James, what's a flow state for you, James? Because you're saying you're having a little bit of trouble with your purpose. A Buddhist monk I watch on YouTube said that meditation isn't concentration; it's you're concentrating on emptying your mind, but you're by default not meditating. Mm. I think what helps if anyone's trying to meditate is to make sure that you get some kind of physical exercise prior to, if not exhausting, that'll relax you, or doing it early in the morning when you just woke up or before bed. I get mine from piano and taekwondo. Look at this little renaissance man over here, James. Oh, I do a little taekwondo and a little piano on the side. Look at this guy. Oh shit. Well, aren't you the most interesting man? A little Dos Equis commercial here. If I had a pit, and I'm not just saying this, I was never musically inclined, and my parents weren't really into it, so I never played an instrument or anything. But I would absolutely want to learn how to play the piano. I love the piano. That would be my choice. So that's pretty cool, man. I do taekwondo on the piano. Fuck, man. How can a woman ever leave a guy that plays piano and does taekwondo? But that's exactly what it is, right, James? That's a form where you're losing track of time when you're playing the piano or you're doing taekwondo. Mac, that's exactly what my tattoo artist just told me today. Yes, I got more ink. That meditation for him is just doing what he enjoys so much that he thinks of nothing else. I still think there's a place for, regular meditation in different ways. I just think that sitting there with your hands like this in an Indian style or cross-legged isn't the only way you can meditate. You get yours from piano too. You play the piano too? Jesus, we've got a couple Elton Johns here, huh? Be picking up James. Trust me, that's why I'm here. Plenty of issues I need to work out first. We all have issues, man. Like I tell people, man, shit, my life's not perfect. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not an angel. I don't have everything going right either. I mean, it's trials and tribulations, it's peaks and valleys. It's life, man. If it was all like this, you wouldn't know what was good, right? It's like like I said, being some people, and I don't know if someone in the groups like this, but have you ever met people that are born rich? It's like like sometimes it feels like they don't even know what bad is. A little lull here now. We're on. If there's at least one thing that makes you 100% happy when you're doing it, that's meditation. Yeah, good point. Good point. Like I said, lost in time. Because like when you say that, instantly I think when I play basketball, I get pissed off if I lose or someone calls a bullshit foul when we're playing in the street or something like that. So I don't know if I'm 100% happy at that time, but I'm engaged mentally. That's for damn sure. Um, I'm going to do a project on relationships and show data on how there's less people getting married and more people getting divorced in this age compared to the 1960s where there were more marriages. I did a video. I didn't do research data on that, but I did a whole video talking about that. And I've talked about that before. And I think that's an interesting topic, Daniel. And please share when you finish, bud. But there's definitely something there. Journaling helps, although I don't do it as often as I should. Why don't you do it as often as you should? Rarely any divorces. I'm 100% happy playing music, even if I screw up a song. Then play more music. The worst life is one where you aren't challenged, you never get tested, and you don't get the feeling of self-worth that comes from overcoming difficulty. Absolutely true, man. That's what I mean. The people that have lived almost a little too perfect. I've met people like this where everything seems to have gone right, or they haven't had a lot of trials and tribulations, and the things they bitch about are petty. The things they whine about are petty. When I was in college, I worked and I sold shoes, and it was a very expensive place. And you dealt with a lot of people that were quite rich. If you didn't have their size of shoe, they just go. Some people just go nuts. Just like, wow, life is. Go to another store and find a different shoe or something. It's not that big a deal. But that's just someone that that's that to not have your size in a particular clothing garment and go nuts says a lot about your character and your life experience, right? Oh, people are dropping off here. I only got 6 more on deck. It's getting a little boring, huh? Let me tell you, I had a pretty darn good childhood with no problems, and so good that when something bad finally happened, I was absolutely not ready for it. Well, there you go. There you go. Well, be thankful for that childhood, and that's probably made you the person that you are. And I'm not saying it's not something to be privileged or proud of, but at some point, you're going to get tested. My ex said that I didn't fight for her after she broke up with me and that I didn't care about her. This was 6 months ago. My ex has daddy issues. Why do females test you? Do any of the females want to answer this question since I'm not a female? Why do females test you? Do you know you're testing guys, females? Because this comes up in a lot of guys' books that you guys shit test us. Would you guys agree? I think I got a few women still on deck here. I've lived a pretty tough life in terms of things to overcome. It's made me resilient. Absolutely. And you work in a field where you help people, right, Monica? I believe you told me you're a nurse or something in the medical field. Sorry if you didn't want to share that. I thought you mentioned it in a live stream before. But Females test you because they want to make sure they are with a strong male that can protect you. So Monica says, bingo. Okay. They want to make sure you're not weak man, because weak men have weak babies. Maybe if you have more specific example of testing, I can try to give you an example. Yeah. Well, I mean, what I was saying about that, Monica, that's probably why you help people. A job like that, at the core of it is helping people. I didn't beg or plead after we broke up. I accepted the breakup. Well, good for you, man. I hear this idea a lot of fighting for the relationship, and I don't know how if I agree with it. I don't know the definition of the individual situation, but Daniel, great way to go. Sound advice there. Sound advice. Then you pass the test, Daniel. Getting dumped doesn't make you weak. Begging and pleading does. That's the gospel right there from Mr. Jamesy. But she got into a rebound like 2 months later, her loss, and still didn't break no contact. Well, good. You know what? Life goes on. Good for you. You don't want this idea if it's a rebound or not a rebound. A lot of people, well, she's just in a rebound. She's in a new relationship. Done, dusted. James is, man. James, when I get this thing going, I'm gonna have you on as one of my first interviews. Thanks, Jessica. She's with a dude who's probably not watching Mac. Okay. Thank you, James. Yeah. That's what I want to do in the future is interview some people. Like someone like yourself, James. Give you like a 45-minute, hour interview about who you are, what you do. Not these podcasts where we interview people that are this guy made $10 million selling this new kind of bag. He's so interesting. It's like, why? Because he made $10 million selling a bag. I agree. People want to rationalize the whole rebound thing like it's doomed to fail or isn't real. Not necessarily. Exactly, James. This comes up a lot. I'm not saying this towards you, Daniel. This isn't like a shot at you in any way. What I'm saying is that someone will be like, oh, she's in a rebound or he's in a rebound. It's like, so what? They're in a new relationship. You guys are broken up. And rebounds sometimes do work. Sometimes someone gets in a rebound, they end up getting married and they have kids and they live a long time. It can. The idea that, oh, someone's in a rebound and it's some kind of a negative thing, you know. I have a family member that he had a one night stand in his 20s that turned out to be his wife, and they had 3 kids. And now some people would be like, oh, that never happens. Yeah. When I mean, like they hooked up, they never, they hooked up. I think they met at a bar or something like that. They end up getting married. Can happen. It doesn't mean all rebounds are real though. Sometimes they really are just running from their feeling. Absolutely. Absolutely. But if they are, you guys are broken up right now. Let them be. It's like someone sent me an email a couple days ago and they were asking like, should they contact their ex and because their ex is going down this wrong path and they're getting in trouble right now. It's like, no, you guys are broken up. They're responsible for themselves right now and they don't want to listen to you and you don't have any responsibility towards them right now. So it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. Oh, this cold brew coffee is strong. We're lingering here, folks. We're lingering here. You just got to be satisfied. Alejandro, Old Mexico. You just got to be satisfied with knowledge that you were the most awesome thing they'll ever had. Good. Hey, coach, just to let everyone know, I was 5-year rebound. It depends on the situation. Most people think differently. She was cheated from her previous relationship. Everyone knew I was a 5-year rebound. So meaning that you were in a rebound relationship that lasted 5 years. Is that what you mean? So the person you were with, you were the rebound, and it ended up lasting 5 years. Okay. She was cheated from her previous relationship. Happens a lot. There's a lot of people, especially someone that's a good catch that has people lined up to say, "I'll take you out. I'll go out with you." It eliminates the gap of loneliness and pain, right? Any other questions here? I got Too much coffee this morning. What if that person you broke up with knows you are a great person, hard to find, and still breaks up with you? What does that mean? Means the other person's values are pretty fucked up. Is that right? Or the timing. Timing's big. Timing and circumstances. I've seen this again and again, again and again and again. Um, you could meet the right person at the wrong time. That's pretty much my case, Monica. 5-year rebound, like that's like an oxymoron. I think what Alejandro meant that he got with his girlfriend and he was a rebound for her and it lasted 5 years rather than it was just a bad relationship. I think that's what he means. The fact though that you think could it be they are not ready? Could be. Could be, but also there's situations where people don't like being in healthy relationships or good relationships because it makes them uncomfortable because they're used to having drama in their relationship. This happens a lot. I'm like, oh, what happened in their past relationship? Oh, this there was there was a client I had, really good dude, very successful, had money, had his shit together. I think he was in his late 30s, and this girl broke up with him like after 4 or 5 months, and he was traveling around the world, and he had some serious money too. And he was shocked that she broke up with him because he was like, "I'm the best guy she's ever been with," and I'm like, "Well, tell me about her past boyfriend." 5 years with one guy that would never claim her as his wife or girlfriend. The other guy, I think, hit her and took money from her, and I was like, "Well, she's used to drama, and you're nothing but nice to her." And you're thinking like I'm the best thing that ever happened to her, where she's thinking, "Where's the excitement and craziness of the relationship?" Because that's what she's used to. True. My ex told me she loved me the last time I saw her 1 month after the breakup and told me I was a good person. She wanted friendship. I accepted, but I went no contact 3 days after. Meaning they have to work on themselves. No, she did not. She's tough. I was cheated on her. Not true. Insecurity issues from her side. If someone is with you for 5 years, just biding their time till they can get back with their ex, that's insanely messed up. Leading someone for years sounds horrible. I have no ideas if she's still in that relationship. I blocked her on everything and I'm too focused on me. Mac, that's spot on. I hope so. I hope so. We're at 1.5 hours here. Sorry, coach. I'm lifting heavy weight right now. I look like Jason. I'm super happy right now thanks to this community. Well, that's cool, man. Right on. You really look like is Jason Momoa the guy from what's that fucking movie? What's Jason Momoa is huge, right? I'm trying to think of that movie where he jumps in the sea. Aquaman. Okay, you look like that guy. Good for you, man. Good for you. Maybe you should move to Hollywood. Get in one of those Marvel comic movies or something. Not the hair. Okay, that's a big part of his look, man. That's a big part of his look. He's half Polynesian, right? Momoa. My niece and nephew are half Polynesian. Momoa sounds like a Samoan name. That's a good dog. Oh, that's a good dog. That's a good dog. Any other questions here? We're waiting a little bit here. We were on law of attraction to start out. Oh, he's not a puppy. He's a big dog. I think he's 9 years old. The law of attraction, getting on your purpose. Getting on your purpose. James mentioned it to get on the purpose. I think with the law of attraction that one of the things that's overlooked is being specific. Being very, 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 very specific about what you want. How you help your partner become more emotionally available. Dogs are great therapy. Absolutely true. It's underrated when they have trouble opening up. Well, first of all, your partner has to want to be that way. They have to want the help. You can't coax them into that. People that aren't emotionally available tend to be more stubborn. So if you tell them what to do or what they're doing wrong, they'll probably push you away. Um, the short answer would be, if you're single right now, to find someone that's more emotionally available in your future relationship. I mean, specifically, who's having trouble opening up? I tried that, Monica. It doesn't work. Mm. Monica, was this a long distance relationship or was it a short? Was it a long distance relationship that you had trouble with this person opening up emotionally? My psychic moment. I forgot your details, but usually people in long distance relationships, it happens more often that they're not emotionally available because um, yeah, because you're talking like this, it's not the same as being in each other's presence. So, and my viewpoint, that's a big part of it, was the long distance. Yeah, Jessica, I know you're in a long distance. I know, but that's a big part of it. You think, oh, this guy's not emotionally available. Well, you guys aren't in physical contact either. You know, not being able to be intimate regularly or have physical touch will wear on people. James Cole, offer couples therapy in non-confronting way for real. Like the only way I would ever consider a relationship with my ex would be if we both went to intense therapy, especially after intimacy. He would retract. Some men are like that. Um, you'd have to ask him specifically why he does that. The idea that you're going to make someone something they're not when they get to a certain age is difficult because their habit and their life experiences have molded that, but they have to feel like that's something they want to fix, not something that you're telling them what to do. But there are people that are pushovers and will just do what you say. But most people, when they get to a certain age, uh, don't like people to say, like, you should be doing this. And then you sound like a parent. Or why don't you do this? If they say, yeah, I really want to work on being more emotionally available, and that's when you go, okay, let's start doing that. Offer couples therapy. Could be. I mean, I've heard mixed reviews on that. I've had clients that said they really didn't like it. And I would say that with couples therapy or any kind of therapy, it's the individual you're dealing with. It's like, let's say that you're going to the dentist, right? All dentists aren't the same. Some do better work than others. Some overcharge. Some do different things. So if you go to a therapist or a couple therapists and you get a bad vibe or a bad feeling, go to another one. Try a different one. Doesn't mean all therapy is bad. Just means that that individual, you don't have a good rapport, or you don't like their style. I agree with the age factor. I never told him what to do. I didn't express things until we broke up. He wasn't receptive to feedback during the relationship, would get defensive. That could just be who he is as a person with other people, not just you, Monica, you know? But it's a good indicator how willing they are to work on their issues. If they say no, it shows they aren't willing to change or become more emotionally available. Sure. Yes, James, agree. Mr. Jamesy. Maybe that's how its parents treated him growing up. Could be something in a past relationship or something when he was younger. A lot of times it is that. It's like I have a friend that whenever he's over, he's a pretty confident guy, very successful in life, does well for himself. But it's weird if you have people over and people have drinks on the table or there's food, he always has to like wipe the table, make sure there's no crumbs, fix the pillows. And he's not a neat and tidy person, but that particular thing, something happened when he was young because it's just immediately he has to tidy up. when there's people around and he's looking around and stuff. And it's almost like there's a little kid in him going, make sure you put that away, son. Make sure you do that. And I've asked him about it before, and he goes, yeah, my mom was really strict about that. And otherwise, he's relaxed. You go out to a bar or a restaurant, doesn't do that as much. But if you have people over and there's a table setting or something, he's constantly like wiping up, almost like a waiter. And he didn't have a waiter job. Um, it's interesting, and he's just programmed that way. He had a difficult childhood. Well, there you go. Well, okay, so if he had a difficult childhood, that could be many things, but he probably wasn't rewarded for being emotionally available. Okay, like it's like when I was like me, I don't really cry that much, and there can be emotional things I even fight it, and that's not me saying I'm tough. It's just when I was a kid, we didn't get rewarded for crying. I got in trouble, so that's probably a big part of it. One of the first times, one of the incidents I had when I was a little kid and I was crying, um, it was like, "Shut up, sit down, sit here." And like I said, it wasn't like, "Oh, are you okay?" or anything like that. So those kinds of things can last. Wow, Jessica Marie, you are very talented playing the guitar, coach. You should check her channel. You're a catch, Jessica. Your ex is he's a lot. Oh, you've checked her channel. Okay, cool, man. Right on. Cool. Alejandro, yeah, yeah, Jessica's done some live coaching sessions, so I know Jessica, and she is cool. As she said, she's an awesome chick, and I'd agree. She's good people. Where are you in a relationship when you were where you're saying were you? I'm thinking not where. Yes, when I was 21, I did have a girlfriend. Um, Let me think back because that's a long time ago. 17 years ago. Um, Actually, I think I had just broken up. Yeah, I just broken up at 21, and I was single for about 3.5 years in San Diego. Mm, so like 21 to 20, I don't know, 21 to 23 or 24, I was single, I think. What? Because I had a relationship where we were long distance, but we weren't together. It wasn't official. But when I was 19 to 20, I had a girlfriend, and I broke up with her. She didn't leave me. His father was abusive. Okay. I explained some things. If he doesn't want to talk about that stuff, then that's his business. Found out my ex has been with a rebound coworker since early March, which was around last time I heard from her. Mr. Derek, I haven't seen you on the live stream before, but I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. A second rebound. Wow. Well, at this point, you don't want to keep if it's your ex, you don't want to know that stuff. However, you're getting your information, cut it off. Bro, 21's a great age. I mean, shit, man. You got their whole, I mean, 20s is a great time, man. I mean, everyone that to be 21 and single. Let's put it this way. I've said this before. Your first love or your first relationship, you talk about doing this research project and getting data on relationships. Your first love and your first relationship, the odds of you staying together for the rest of your life are probably about 2%, 1%. So it's going to happen eventually that you're going to break up, and it's usually timing and circumstances, or it's someone going, "It's just the only person I'm ever going to know or be with." It's okay. Going to keep doing no contact. Good for you, Derek. You're going to get through it, dude. DC. I think Derek, you sent your story in, if I'm correct. I'm drawing a blank right now, which isn't common. I'm like, where's his name coming from? Can you believe my therapist wants me to break no contact once June comes and tell her how I feel? Hey, two DCs in here, yeah. DCM. Thanks, guys. But yes, I sent my story. You sent your story, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, if your therapist has that recommendation, they're coming at a place where that's what they believe is right to do. I'm not going to say she's right or wrong. Here's the thing. It's like when I give advice in the live coaching sessions, I like to give different options unless it's like really like there's been a few times where I'm like, no, listen, I've been talking to you for a while. This is not right. But usually, you like someone had said earlier, I think Judy Jack, who's probably not on it anymore. Um, Someone, a coach or a therapist gives you advice. You still have free will to go, I want to do that or I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Or it feels right or it doesn't feel right. Or I really respect this person and who they are and the advice they gave me before. Maybe I should think about this. You see what I'm saying? And how they convey it. If you feel like, oh, that's not going to work out good for me, then don't do it. If you feel like, oh yeah, don't just blindly follow someone's rules. Like if someone says to me, Mac, I don't agree with that, I'm like, all right, let's unpack that and tell me why you don't agree with what I'm saying, and or why you want to do something different. And I'll listen to you and I'll go, all right, that's the difference. I'm not just going to go, yeah, you need to do this. I'm like, all right, let's unpack it and see why you're thinking that. And then you can decide it's like a teacher learns more when they teach. It's like when I talk to people and I ask them good questions, they're actually coming to their senses on their own by answering the question and conveying it to me. And then it becomes more clear to them, if that makes sense. Thanks, Jessica. Yeah, just book a live coaching session. I always tell people, if you want your money back at the end, if you don't think it's useful and helpful, I'll give you your money back. No problem. I would never want someone to go, oh yeah, this wasn't what I expected. I don't, fuck, dude, here's your refund. I know I reached out last April 8th and was ignored, but yeah, again, thanks. All appreciated. No problem, Derek. That's what the community's for, the live stream's for. We all go through it, dude. Sometimes you need to voice it somewhere. Sometimes you need a full, like Jessica was saying, like we did in the live cut. You just need to unpack everything, kind of go through it. It's like going through your stuff. It's like, what do I want to keep? What do I want to let go? What do I want to re-examine? Again, thanks. Max philosophy is correct. Break no contact whenever you want, but be prepared for whatever the consequences are. Yeah, James, you watch. That's what I tell people. I tell people all the time. I go, hey, if you want to, sometimes, well, someone was telling me before, well, my other breakup coach told me absolutely. I go, do whatever you want. I'm just telling you, this is probably the best case. I go, this outcome would be the best outcome would be them coming back to you at some point, and then you being in the driver's seat and making the decision. Do I want them or do I not want them? Do I want to revisit things or do I not? Now you're in the driver's seat. Now you flip the tables. Now you're in charge of your own destiny, rather than going, I hope, I wish, I can't wait for them to call me. I felt like a light feather after the session Sunday. No kidding. Well, thank you. It was a good session. Yeah, it was good. I went in feeling anxious and hopeless and came out the other side feeling great. That's good, man. I take that as a big compliment. Big compliment. Sometimes you need to just get everything out. And I've said this before. I've done it before. I've talked to someone when I was in a breakup. The person gave me 2 hours on a phone. And I remember just feeling like I just needed to get that all out in one session. Because when I talk to my friends and family, it's like I just give them snippets. And then you could tell they're kind of like, well, just do this. They don't want to listen to a whole story or talk about my problem for an hour or 2 hours. Right. And it's almost like you throw up everything. It's like you're puking out all these feelings. You're like, wow, I got that all out. It's not running through my mind so harshly. He could sense that Coach Mac confidence on you. I don't know. He could sense that Coach Mac. And the day after that, I went into work. My hot colleague bought me breakfast. Oh, cool. Cool, man. Good for you. Good for you. I love, what's really cool about doing this stuff, right? And my channel's what, like 2,600 subscribers, and the views aren't, some people are like, oh, how do you have more views and stuff? But the amount of people that I have talked to directly and stuff, it's like I can't imagine when it goes to like 10,000 subscribers how to deal with this many people, because right now people from 6 months ago, 8 months ago, I got a guy that I helped out, it's probably 9 months ago or 10 months ago, and we talked in the first month a couple times, and then 2 months later he called me about something else, and now he's got a new girlfriend, and he sends me updates every couple months about what's going on, and just wanted to say thank you so much. You helped me through this time. Da, 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 da. Gives me all this credit, and he's doing really, really, really well. and he's coming to Thailand. So he's like, I want to take you out to eat. Da, da, da. So the end of June, and I've had a few people do this already. I've had one other person come. So it's really the part that's really cool to me is making the connections with people after the fact too, because this is part of life, people. This is we look at where we're at in life. It's like this breakup that you're having or whatever you're going through right now. This ain't going to be the defining moment in your life. This isn't going to be who you are. It's just a chapter in the book. That's it. You'll look back in it 5, 7, 8 years. And I remember thinking when I was in the worst part of my bad breakup, I was thinking like, when is this going away? When can I just get through it? And then like 10 years later, I'm like, damn, you know, there's not a remnants of it there where I'm like, oh yeah, I feel so bad because I went through it already. I dealt with it. Coming, I've got 15, 20 minutes left here. Thanks for the, that's great, man. No, thanks, Monica. It is great. It's nice. It's a privilege. I'm sure you go through the same thing as a nurse. Like literally, so many good things happened to me these past couple of days that I started writing them down so I won't forget how I feel. Oh, cool. Really cool. Really cool. That's a good way to do it because we get caught up in all the negative shit, right? Same. Good. Trying to kill your emotional bond with someone is like having to club a baby seal to death, forcing yourself to fall out of love, not fun. Wow, that's a brutal fucking analogy, James, to club a baby seal. You're welcome, Jessica. But past months for me. Yes, I decided to stop writing only bad things. Good for you. Good for you. Life's duality, man. North, south, hot, cold. Everything has two sides and some shit in between, but you can always, it sounds cliche, right? To say, oh, find the positive, find the positive. If you're hanging out with someone that's like, oh, this person's too positive, it's like, dude, that's a red flag. Love Watch feels like a friend I never had. I have a toxic friends. They like celebrating Cinco de Mayo almost every day. Oh my God. That's funny. Well, Alejandro, the funny thing is, before I did these live streams, the people that I would get in the live coaching would commonly say that it was like talking to a friend or a good friend that's known them a long time. And I always say that's a compliment. So, and it's a different approach than say a psychiatrist, which psychiatrist, nothing wrong with them, just a different approach than the way I would talk to someone. You guys keep moving forward. Always great to see the same people on chat helping each other. I'm not alone. Absolutely. Yeah, this is really cool. And someone had said, looking at the positive in this, because someone had said that maybe Jessica said it to me, and someone else mentioned it in another live stream that they like the fact that there's not a lot of people, so we can have a kind of a sound roundtable conversation instead of there being 100 up here and me not being able to respond to everyone. So there's a positive in that too. Yep, you did mention that. Yeah, that was you. You mentioned that, and someone mentioned in a live stream that there were before that they were like, "This is so great." Before you get more popular, which I don't know if that's coming, that we're able to have these good conversations, right? Because 7 people is, I think there's 7 right now. There's up to 15 to 17 earlier. People chime in. This is nice because everyone can get in, say something, support each other, and this is cool. I mean, I certainly think we could get up to 15 and 20 and get good. What's up, Jay Brazo? Brazini? Hoopers on deck. Would you ever take an ex-pac who left you for someone else, then got engaged and broke it off? Are you asking me or everyone? I think you asked. Did you ask this before? Someone asked this. Hooper, I'm sorry to hear about the Sixers, my friend. But it looks like you're keeping Mr. Brett Brown. I was so happy that the Lakers and Knicks did not win that NBA draft. Sorry, guys out there. I know he's my only other basketball fan. Yo, Jay, we're all hugging each other, right? Right, meow, welcome. So if you want me to answer that question, I think I've answered it before for someone else if it wasn't you, Hooper. Would you ever take an ex-pac who left you for someone else, then got engaged and broke it off? Short answer, no. Would I? Cheers, whoever gave me the like. No. Yeah, you guys had a good team, man. Um, would you ever take an ex back who left for someone else, then got engaged? For me, no, I wouldn't take them back. It's not bitterness. It would just be, um, wow, Jessica, I didn't know you're a basketball fan too. Um, Emlet is a beast. Unfortunately, he can't play all the time though. Um, yeah, no, if I had an ex and she got engaged, it would be done. It would be damaged goods for me. I'd be done. It would if it was to come back to that point, Hooper, it would have to be years later. It wouldn't be like 6 months, 7 months. I would be done because I personally think I would be in a place right now who I am. Maybe when I was, I don't know, before, but for me, if someone gets with someone, I know who that person is, and you were engaged, mentally, I can't check back in for me. But if someone else, if that was like if that was you and you're like, look, they broke it off, they were engaged, and now I'm revisiting things. If you're okay with that, fine. But you cannot bring up the past. If it still hurts you, you can't bring that up again and again. What if they had just had a promise ring, not fully engaged? Oh, well, for me personally, it doesn't matter that they were engaged or not engaged. The fact that they were with someone else for a long period of time that was serious, I wouldn't want to be, how should I put this? They were with someone after me that's a serious relationship for, whatever it is, so serious that they were actually having a promise ring. But let me just say, like, even if it wasn't the marriage thing, someone was with someone else in between. We broke up, and I'm assuming like a long term relationship, like 3, 4, 5 years. We broke up. She gets with someone else, which is her prerogative, her right. Um, I'm not thinking like as soon as you get out of that, I'm waiting to hook up or get back with you. I wouldn't want to be in that position, and I would always be lingering like about this guy that's been in between the time we've been together. For me, just off the top of my head. What if they just had a promise ring? Enraged must have been a Freudian slipped. If they, yeah, if they left you for someone else, that would be a grave insult to me. It seems like there are so many reasons not to take an ex back. It makes me wonder if there's any reasons you should ever take them back if you get the chance. Well, I would say, James, if you had a good relationship before and whatever the problem is fixed. So if the problem was, for example, long distance, like I was in a long distance relationship and this was years back when we broke up. I went back to where she lived or where I used to live, and we immediately got back together because the distance was the problem. So the problem wasn't our relationship. The problem wasn't love. The problem wasn't connection or attraction. The problem was distance. Cheers. Thanks for the like, whoever that was. So if that's the problem and it can be fixed, then you definitely can get back together. But if the problem's like lying, cheating, trust, I mean, those kinds of things, then it's pretty difficult. I've always been the one to grow as a person and learn, evolve. And when they are the ones that don't do any self work, which usually ends because you outgrow them. When it comes to getting back together, well, also the common thing is you grow in different directions, right? And that has to do with work a lot of times in careers. And when you start going in different directions, like so let's say someone's chasing a career where they want to make a lot of money, they're putting in more hours and their values are changing, and you're chasing a career, let's say as a teacher, which is making less money and doing something more for humanity, then your values and your ideals are going to change and you're going to different directions. It's like you're going to be with some wolf of Wall Street, someone on Wall Street, and you're teaching preschool. It's not going to work because your values are so different. It's like you think like, oh yeah, it'd be great to be with someone with money, but the kind of person that they become. The fact that you've always been the one to grow as a person and learn to evolve, well, pat yourself on the back. You'll find someone to appreciate that. I think it takes more time to I've said this before, and if you're still on deck, Daniel, I think that relationships are going to be more in and out. They're going to be more 5 year, 6 year things, breakups, 3, 4 years things, breakup. I don't think there's going to be as many people getting married, being married for 20, 25, 30, 40 years. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be rare that someone goes, "Oh, we've been married 30 years and we got married in 2020." I just, I think society and culture is changing. It's moving fast and people they want to upgrade. I say it in a video that I made a long time ago. Look at the iPhone. It's like if you look at the iPhone from year to year to year, they're not really that much different in the things you use them for, but people want to upgrade. People, it's like grandma and grandpa had the same TV, the same shag carpet, the same car, the same this. I'm talking about mine, the same house for 40 years. People don't do that anymore. People just always are up, up. How can I do better? How can I do better? Oh, this problem I had with this, I'll get a new one. Well, maybe Daniel, maybe we should collab when I finally get my book going, and maybe you can give me some data science so that you can predict the future based on data you generate. The only Here's the interesting thing about breakups and relationships. When people do studies on this stuff, people lie. Someone's like, "Oh, this percentage of people cheat in marriages." How many people are going to lie about cheating? Where did you get this data from? You just asked humans to tell the truth? More breakup means fewer marriages. Fewer marriages means fewer families. I think fewer families means humanity is worse off. Population will be lower, maybe. That's true, man. Because that makes, you know what I mean? Where when you do data science with numbers, right? Like money, you can be exact. But humans, they don't always tell the truth. Coming up on a couple hours here. It's good to see you, Brazo. You're in California, of course. You want a lower population. James, where are you at? I don't know where you're at. I'm currently in California. I don't want necessarily a lower population. I'm not going to get into like, I'm just looking at the most positive thing you can look at, I guess. The area I'm in now, I wouldn't say is overpopulated. There's a lot of farms around here, actually. Cincinnati, Ohio. Actually, where I live in Thailand, there's like 4 people from Ohio. I don't know how they ended up there. One's from Youngstown, if you know Youngstown. Good knowledge, Jessica. That Tasmanian apple juice is good. It's too strong though. It's like 100% juice, and I drank a whole couple glasses of it, and I got a headache from it. But it's delicious. Now I'm doing a cold brew from good memory. Do you find when you have a good memory and you're around, like I have a couple friends that have bad memories, and I'll be like, "Yeah, you said this," and they're like, "No, I didn't." I'm like, "Dude, you have a fucking horrible memory. You know you have a horrible memory, and I have a good one." And it's almost irritating because they don't remember what they said, and then they'll say something like, "Wait." When you have a really good memory and someone says something, you're like, "You told me this before." It's like you catch them in their bullshit, and it's harmless bullshit, but you're like, "Yeah, you told me you made 100 grand a year, and now you're telling me you make 40." What time is it? 1:30. Kirby, come here, Kirby. We're gonna have to say goodbye pretty soon here. I gotta go. Oh boy, tell me about it. You see, when you have, I don't. Someone else said it's a. One of my other clients like, yeah, dude, I got a good memory too. It's a curse sometimes. It's not a curse. It's not a curse at all. But I can check when people are like, you know, I'm like, no, I remember what you told me. Oh no, I didn't say that. I'm like, no, you're just, just remembering what you want to remember. Mr. James Kavanaugh in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Bengals, the Icky Shuffle, Boomer Esiason, Pete Rose. I think that rapper I just mentioned is from Ohio earlier in this live stream. Atmosphere. I think he's from there too. All right, folks. Any closing questions here? This has been really nice. Thanks for hanging out for the whole couple hours. Really appreciate it, James, Daniel, Jessica, Monica. Anyone have a closing question? Gotta take Kirby for a walk here. Kirby, say, Kirby. He's a good dog, yeah. There you go. He's a good dog, yeah. Any closing questions? Closing arguments? No? No problem, Mac. Thanks for your time. Thank you, bud. Mac, you're awesome. The world needs more good people like you. Rock on. Thanks, Jessica. I appreciate that. It's a kind compliment. Along with the other ones you made. I appreciate it. On 2 hours. This is great, man. We're going to continue it on. Continue on. Is that it? We're going to close it out on 2 hours? I think that's a good one to close it out on. Yep. Thanks, y'all. Looking forward to the next time. Thanks, James. Take it easy, folks.